Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're unpacking a massive $2 billion deal that really boils down to one world-changing idea: that the next global superpower won't be measured by its military or its economy, but by gigawatts of pure computing power.
So let's start with the number that frames this entire story: 5 gigawatts. We're not talking about enough electricity to just keep the lights on. This is the raw energy needed to create machine intelligence on a global scale. It's the new currency of power, And it's the ultimate prize in the deal we're about to explore.
To really get this deal, you first have to understand the world it was born into. And honestly, it's like a new kind of gold rush, where the precious metal isn't gold, it's computing power.
Right now, there's this incredible, almost desperate global race for high-performance compute. I mean, everyone from AI startups to the biggest tech giants are all scrambling for this specialized hardware they need to build the next generation of AI. The problem is, there's just not enough to go around.
Now, this infrastructure isn't just a random collection of servers in a warehouse. It's being organized into what the industry is calling AI factories. And these are basically assembly lines for intelligence, turning raw data into AI products at a massive industrial scale. We've definitely moved past simple experiments. This is the era of mass-produced AI. And that brings us to a key player in this whole race: Nebius. Nebius is what you'd call a vertically integrated cloud company. That just means they control everything, from the actual data centers to the servers inside them. They were originally part of the tech firm Yandex before spinning off, and now they are absolutely laser-focused on one mission: building a platform designed purely for AI.
Okay, so let's dive into the deal itself, because it's about so much more than just a big check. This is a really deep strategic alignment that's designed to create a brand new powerhouse in the AI space.
So NVIDIA, the undisputed leader in AI chips, recently announced a massive $2 billion strategic investment in Nebius. And this wasn't just a vote of confidence. It was a really calculated move to lock in a key partner to build out the very foundation of our AI future.
And let me be clear, this is so much more than a simple hardware sale. It's a deep engineering collaboration. NVIDIA is essentially embedding its people with Nebius to work on everything from designing the AI factories and the software, all the way to deploying the next-gen systems, and even managing the health of the entire GPU fleet. And this gives Nebius a huge technical advantage. They basically get to be at the front of the line for NVIDIA's latest and greatest tech. We're talking the Rubin platform, Vera CPUs, Bluefield storage, the whole shebang. In a race where every nanosecond counts, having early access to the fastest gear is a total game changer.
So how does all this add up? Well, it builds what analysts are calling an unbeatable moat around Nebius's business. Let's take a look at how this partnership basically becomes a fortress.
The company's whole strategy is captured perfectly in this quote from its CEO. He argues that while the big cloud providers had to kind of retrofit their systems for AI, Nebius was purpose-built for it from day one. Every single decision they made was with AI workloads in mind.
Because of this deep relationship, reports are suggesting Nebius gets a significant discount on high-end GPUs. Now, when you're building AI factories at a gigawatt scale, that cost advantage, chip by chip, creates a competitive wall that is just incredibly difficult for any rivals to climb over.
But this might be the most powerful part of the whole story. Nebius already has $20 billion in secured contracts. That's not a projection, right? It's not a hope. It's actual revenue that's already locked in from customers who have signed on the dotted line.
So yeah, this isn't just speculative growth. We're talking about guaranteed revenue from tech giants like Microsoft and Meta. In such a volatile market, having billions of dollars already on the books, well, it makes this a much safer bet for investors.
So the opportunity is huge. The revenue is secured. But Wall Street is also looking at some major risks, and that's led to a very mixed verdict on the company.
You can see the tension right here. On one hand, you've got this story of explosive growth. The stock surged, analysts are super bullish, and its one-year return is just staggering. But on the other hand, the company isn't profitable yet. It's taking on massive debt, and there's a huge risk that they just can't execute on a project this enormous. And you can really see the high-reward nature of this play right here. The stock has just massively outperformed the broader market over the last year. So for now, investors are clearly betting that the boom side of this story is going to win out.
Despite all the risks, Nebius is betting everything on a future that operates at an almost unimaginable scale.
This isn't about small incremental growth. This is about a foundational shift in how things work.
It all starts with projects like this, a planned 1.2 gigawatt AI factory in Missouri. And to put that in perspective, that's enough energy to power a large city. This is what we mean by civilization-scale build-out, and it's really just the beginning of their plan.
And the long-term roadmap? It's even more ambitious. Their current capacity is already sold out for months. By the end of 2026, they're aiming for over 3 gigawatts of contracted capacity. And by the end of the decade, the goal is to deploy over 5 gigawatts of NVIDIA systems globally.
So why build at this absolutely breathtaking scale? Well, because all this infrastructure is needed for the next evolution of AI. NVIDIA's CEO calls it agentic AI. And these are systems that don't just follow our commands, but actually make their own decisions to achieve goals. Powering that kind of autonomy is going to require an unimaginable amount of computing power.
So, this whole story really comes down to one final question. Nebius has the right partner, they have the capital, the technology, and that incredible $20 billion backlog of customers. But building the future at this speed and at this scale is just an unprecedented challenge. Can they actually pull it off? That's the multi-billion-dollar question that's going to define the next chapter of AI.